let's move some stuff around and let's see how we can get y'all mounted up. I got to get me a different light setup in here, y'all. We needs to see subscribers setting up chat. Let's see, we are set up there. So let me get us mounted back here. Let me get this out of the way. This is my light out here, and I move it around on me. Let's see, there we go. That'll work out a little better. Let's get that moved in. Let's get that moved in. Alright, we are there. Alright, bear with me, y'all. Trying to get my chat pulled up here again. Don't know what I did the other day, but I pulled it up. Same account, same deal, right here on my, let's see, babbling. I pulled up my YouTube on my other phone here, and it went into my regular channel and had my live showing and had my chat available. And I could do my moderations and stuff off of that one, but I can't do them. Alright, good morning, good morning. Let me get this up here. I'm just going to go back to my other account. It's easier that way. I'll figure this out later. Alright, I was here. Got y'all set up on my other phone. Alright, good morning everybody. We're going to attempt to do some epoxy. Get my sand and blanket towel set up for here in a minute. Checking out for little baby spiders. It is early. I'm starting about on time today. I hope everybody's doing good. Let's see, we got somebody. Alright, this is my leftover epoxy. Whenever I make my blanks, I dump in the leftovers in a cup until the cup got so full, and here we go. Some of that EarlyBird medicine. But first time ever trying to do anything off of a waste block. I even got that little worm screw hooked in my chuck, screwed into here. I've never turned anything off of one of those before, so this ought to be a little adventure. Hopefully everything goes good. This is true as it can be, as you can tell. I had to true this up down here and get our ends true, but gonna try to do a little dab spoon out of this piece here. Gotta mess with the brushes on this thing still. But yeah, little dab spoon out of that. Everything out the way. Let me get this cord back up out of the way. We don't need nothing getting tangled up on anything. Alright, I hope everybody's doing good. Please hit that like button, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff for me. Just sipping my coffee and I'm gonna get with it here. I have to Be careful. This is that old famous knuckle buster I do not like. I gotta watch out. But I'm gonna be down here because of that waste block, so I shouldn't even get down there. But hey, who knows? We do some stupid stuff sometimes. Like lose the dust mask we just had our hands on. Alright, here we go.
Gotta start by truing it all up. Hey, good morning, Mr. Johnny.
Mr. Johnny, this is the first time I've ever turned anything off of a waste block like this. Got my worm screw grabbed in there. I got this glued on there with some 5-minute epoxy. It's been glued up for a good week or so. It should not come off. Waste or leftover epoxy from my blank pours. So let's see what happens. Wish me luck.
I love this stuff. It goes everywhere. little bit. Oh, get in there.
Ooh, it's snowing over here. It's a little different. It's same thing. It's some epoxy. It's just the uh the leftovers from me pouring some blanks is my leftover cup. Glued it to a waste block. First time I've ever turned off of a waste block like this. So, but I'm gonna take my epoxy, work all that down, and just make a little dab spoon out of it. But all right, let me get back at it. And this epoxy is a mess. I gotta take my vacuum cleaner, my dust. Let me get this off my mouth. My dust collection system is a 5 gallon rigid shop vac, and then it comes up and runs to 5 gallon bucket with a dust deputy on top of it to separate all the big stuff. And works awesome. When you open up that 5 gallon shop vac, there ain't no shavings or nothing in there, but there is that real fine like baby powder dust build up on everything. Not real thick because I keep it blowed out, but the filter in there is the original filter, and I blow it out from time to time, and that's how my vacuum is acting now. Is like that filter's getting stopped up because it's not pulling as hard as it normally does. So I got to get underneath there and get that. Bad thing about that is my shop vac is underneath my my table set up here, and boxed in, screwed closed, and all that stuff to try to cut down on some of the noise to where it's not as loud. Because trust me, if it was out here in the open, it would be way louder than what it is. It dropped the decimals probably 30 points easy whenever I did it. But yeah, I got to unscrew that and pull all that out to blow everything off. It's just a chore, and I got to redesign that setup somehow, make it easier to get to. Because, yeah, as much as I've been turning, I got to keep it blowed out probably once a week now. But, alright, babble. I'm going to get me some coffee and get back at it. This is going to be kind of neat. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. I think I'm going to maybe try to egg shape it a little bit. Of course, with it being fatted right here, this is going to be the base. This will be the top. I'll try to taper it down in a little bit right here, and then taper it up here kind of like an egg, and see how that goes. Because that's, yeah, I would love to I'm gonna try to turn an egg one of these days, but I guess this is the practice for it. All right, here we go. I hope everybody's having an awesome morning. I hope your coffee is strong, and that's it. Be safe out there. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, show Grumpy some love. I greatly appreciate it.
There's sauce everywhere. I love it. Alright, come on, here we go. Lordy. Look like I've been playing in the snow. Let's see, keep up with you, there you go. Good morning, Rusty.
Good morning, Rusty. Speaking of, whenever I start one of my eggs, I want to put my little Jesus in one of them. He's like a perfect size. He would fit just perfect. I like it. I got two of them up here watching me. They're my little buddies.
Alright, let's get ready. We'll be babbling. Let's do it. This stuff's everywhere. Let's go. It's like a spider web. It's just everywhere. I gotta clean up some of this epoxy. It's driving me crazy. All right. Get all this off of me for a little second here. All right.
I don't know if anybody out there's ever turned epoxy that's watching or played with this stuff, but it is like super staticky, so it wants to stick to everything as you're turning, which in a way is kind of good, keeps the mess contained, but goodness, it looks like I've been out there playing in the snow. Alright, y'all, I hope everybody's doing awesome this morning. This is going to be neat. As long as it stays on here and doesn't go flying off and knock me in the head. I wish it was a little bit bigger on the epoxy, because that is about the size I want right there. I want to taper. I'm going to keep bringing this up and taper it to where it starts to round over real good and nice. I want it to, so I'm going to lose my diameter tapering it up like that. But that's got some cool color mixes and everything in there, and it's gonna look neat. But that would be awesome. That's just, with this right here, it's giving me new ideas, because like I said, this is the very first time I've ever done something to this extent. I've turned epoxy, but popping it on this block, and if y'all notice, I'm actually getting good stringies and whatnot, because it's like, even though I get a little heavy, it don't stop. That's why I don't like using these, because it is wearing on my motor. But it's gonna be a cool piece. A little babble. Let me get some coffee. Again, I hope everybody's having an awesome day out there. Southern pecan. I love this coffee. I only get it when the kids are having their little fundraisers for school, because it's a brand that they sell through those fundraiser packs. It's not bad. So I get me some about once a year. I like them colors. That's when I did that. I called them Joker colors, but it had that green and that purple, and it went kind of pink. It ought to have some glow in there. Ooh, these cartridges get me every time. Yeah, it's gonna glow. All right. All right, Mr. Johnny, you have an awesome day. Be safe at work. Thank you for tuning in. All right, putting my dust mask back on, y'all. Gonna get back at it. Maybe epoxy, but it still lets off all that dust. Don't want to breathe in none of that stuff.
All right, here we go. Watch out for that right there. Don't pick on my parting tools, oh. that boom boom bang. Lord have mercy. Whew.
Hey y'all, that's perfect example why heavy hands ass grumpy. Because yeah, Jordy Johnson is super heavy hands with the wood spirits. I'm gonna call myself super heavy hands on the daggum wood lathe. And yes sir, that is why I don't like doing that. Did y'all catch that? That daggum bad boy exploded. Dang, that stuff went everywhere too. Oh goodness, that broke in a couple of pieces. Let's see if I can find any of it. Oh damn! Oh, buddy, there's part of it. Oh, man, damn, that don't look good. Yep, that was fun. Alright, let's see here. At least that daggum thing didn't come back and hit me in the mouth or the head or nothing. That was a plus. Because that's one thing I do not have is a face shield. I'm wearing my glasses for eye protection. You know, I'm wearing my mask, but I do not have a face shield out here for this mess yet. And after that right there, it won't be long before I try to get me one. Dang, that sucks. Anyway, that broke right there. Clean break. That's where I had that catch. I was coming through there and it caught and boom, away she went. Damn, you know. Okay, we have learned the lesson. Be careful with that daggum detail tool when you get in them tight corners with that bad boy, huh? Because it didn't like it. Let's see, I gotta leave that on there. That's that worm screw. Pull that off. Well, where'd my other piece go? That was not what we wanted. I wanted to make a little egg, an epoxy egg dab spoon out of that. I did. Yeah. Well, we're not done with that. We're done with that for this morning, but we're not done with that. We will come back to that for sure. Alright, this is my knuckle buster, as I call it. And I had the worm screw. Oop, get in there. Had daggone butterfingers. Had the worm screw locked down in there, and then had that waste block screwed onto it. But again, that's the first time I've ever used a waste block or anything like that. It was doing pretty good. It's just this is dry pine, and you can see where the block split. But I don't, that could have been some of my problem. I don't know. Like I said, I've never done it. I know I had the catch right there, and that's what I was telling y'all before. Whenever I use the dead centers like I do, the centers, the dead center and the live center, when I get a catch, the piece will stop, and this piece still spins because it's just poked in. It's not grabbed in with no teeth, so it'll still spin in that center spot, and it doesn't go catastrophic like it did being in that worm chuck or in that chuck. When I got my little catch, this piece could not stop. You know, it had to keep going, and that's what it did. When I got that catch down there, it kept going right there and spun and ripped it apart right there. Separated the epoxy. That's where I had that 5-minute epoxy. So it basically ripped the the grains of the wood off of the wood right there. Just pow, and then broke. But oh well, live and learn. Hey, good morning, Miss Daisy. You missed my little catastrophic incident. I had this piece on my waist block. I was gonna go for like an egg shape and make a little dab spoon out of it, and I normally go with my chuck right here and hold it. Well, if I get a catch and I'm using this piece will not stop turning. It's gonna keep going, and that's what I did. I got a little heavy-handed at the end right here, and I got a catch, and when I did, it tried to stop and it ripped it loose right there and went flying across the room. Didn't hit me. I was lucky. But yeah, that piece kind of messed up for the morning, but that's okay. Live and learn. Like I said, I put it on there in the description. Is it going to be a flop or not? It looked like it was a flop, but like I said, it was a learning experience. So all right, let's go to something small here real quick. Put this on there. This is a little leftover piece of cherry from the other day. I'm going to try marking this one out real quick and turning that little bitty stub into a small spoon. And then we'll put some, I have, what do I got? I have other epoxy blanks poured. That's what I ought to do, since I'm already here in the mix, is just get with the epoxy. But what time is it? Because I got to do to get 6. All right, let's try that. Let's go with the epoxy for this morning, since I've already got epoxy everywhere. We'll just keep with that. All right, homemade blank, little cardboard there. I was gonna take my pocket knife and scrape all that cardboard off last night while I was watching videos, and I forgot. It'd take me just a minute to run through it with the tool, but we'll get it scraped off. And then y'all have seen this color pattern already. This is the last one out of the fall colors that my wife picked out. And so we'll turn this one and see how it goes. And my little homemade center finder here works pretty good. Wife put Christmas tree up early. We use an artificial tree, so used to stay with the real trees, and we'd go to the little Christmas tree farm and cut us one down and whatnot. But we haven't been in years. I'm sure they're doing much better now, but we had stopped going after a bad hurricane had come through and pretty much wrecked the place for a little while. But like I said, I'm sure they've regrown. We've gone once since then, and it wasn't that bad. But it's a Christmas tree farm that's about 10 miles away. It's not that far. You can go out there all year round and buy your tree early. Hold on. You can go out there all year round, buy your tree early, tag it, and then go out there and trim it, manicure it, whatever. Try to give it the shape you want to make sure it's going to be a full pretty tree. Or you can just wait and show up at the last minute and try to buy one if it ain't been tagged or whatnot. But most of the time the picture perfect trees are gone if you wait that long. Hey, good morning, Raja, or good evening, Raja. Thank you for stopping by, buddy. I hope you've had an awesome day over there. Y'all got to go check out Raja's channel. That man is a wood turning machine. I like the woods he uses over there. He's told me in one of his shorts the name of it, and I straight up forgot. But it almost looks like cedar. It's got a look like a sapwood and a dark and a heartwood in there. It's two-toned. And I'd love to get a hold of some of that. That would be fun to turn. He does his big handles and little handles, and if you catch his shorts, you'll see him doing a lot of decorative spindle work and everything. It's pretty cool. All right, y'all. Let's see. This is going to be, I'll give you a small sneak peek. Bam. This is the same color that we got in here. And this is the first piece out of it. We did that one the other morning, and then that's where I cut the bottom. I tell you, I cut them and then polished the bottoms off. That's all by hand right there. I sanded it and then wet sanded it, went through all the grits, and then put the Yorkshire on there. All right. See, that's not too bad. Using that center mark, I'm pretty true right there. I'm gonna have to knock some of it down, but that's not bad to start with. Less waste, and working with the epoxy, that stuff's not cheap, so you really don't want to waste no more of it than you got to. And that's like with what broke on me earlier. That's not a complete waste. I can go back and break the rest of that off, and I still have a center mount right there, so I can mount it right there and then kind of get it centered down here and then turn it, but it's just going to be a smaller setup. That's how I should have done it to begin with, instead of trying it on the waist block, but I've never done the waist block, so hey, I got to try one day. So we glued her together, and that's what happened. All right, y'all, babble. I'm fixing to get with it. I hope everybody's having an awesome morning. Stay safe out there if you're going to work. Watch out for that traffic. And yeah, be safe. Here we go. This is gonna take a minute. I said this is a piece of cardboard. I think it was an aluminum foil, a roll of aluminum foil, and then that was just the roll it was wrapped on. But it worked out awesome to put some blanks in. It's just a one and done. You're not reusing that. All right, here we go. It's just gonna take me a minute to cut all that off. Hey, good morning. See if I can do it. All right, I think I did it that time. Here we go. I got it right down. Yeah, relax. Time to get with it.
little bit of paper right there still. A little bit right there. That's about it. Alright. these on.
Alright, y'all. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna leave the whole length on this one. I'm gonna try to, and we're gonna see how it works, because I've gotten that center stabbed in there pretty good. I might need to take it down some. Yeah, I wasn't really looking at it good. That's probably what I gotta do, is just take it on down. I was gonna round it right here at the end like a ball, and then put a hole through there to add a dab spoon to this one, so it'll be a spoon clip combo. I have a few of those that I make. But hey, good morning, Bones. Oh, you missed the first one this morning. Oh, it was a boo-boo. I had a blowout. I had this locked into my chuck, so whenever I got a catch, this wouldn't stop spinning right. I had her locked down, and yeah, I got a catch on this end, and it ripped apart and shot across the room. Yeah, it was an event. But alright, off of that, I'm gonna get on back on this piece and try to finish this up before it gets too late. But uh-oh, what happened here? Uh-oh, there we go. Lost my feed. But yeah, I'm gonna try to finish that off. But yeah, I was gonna round that in, but I'm probably not, now that I've realized how deep I'm stabbing in there. So that point right there is going into about right there, so that might split. So I'll bring it back and round it back over some more or something, or I might just make it a standalone, who knows. But babble, I'm gonna get me a little bit of coffee. And when I started tapering that end over and it caught a little bit, made that clink, oh my goodness, that made me jump. I thought the pizza was fixing to fly off like it did a minute ago. Hey, but it happens. Live and learn. I think a lot of it was my waist block, because I mean, granted, I got a catch, and then with not using these, using that chuck, when I get a catch, that piece won't stop. That piece is going to keep spinning when it's locked in right there. When I'm bounding these points right here, if I get a bad catch, that'll just stop. That keeps spinning and just wallers out the hole deeper. But locked in that chuck, it couldn't stop, and so you can see where it ripped it loose right there. But oh well. That's a dry piece of pine that I use for the waist block. I'm gonna have to use something that's got a tighter grain for sure. Oh goodness, y'all. Get my mask on and get back at it. Who we got? I cannot see. Robert, good morning, sir. Man, I thought about you yesterday. It was a hell of a brain fart, and then I looked up the closest location to you, and it's like 6-hour drive, so the brain fart turned into a wet poop. I was thinking about how you do your little 420 deals, and you got them in Jolene's shop down there. That Planet 13 dispensary's headquarters, I believe, is in California, but I checked your location, and the closest one to you is 300 and something or 400 and something miles away. It's like a 6-hour drive, but That's the same dispensary that's letting me set up out front with all my stuff, and they support local vendors and stuff like that. That's what made me think of you last night. I was like, well, daggum, Robert can set up and do that, but you'd have to get up with them, make sure it's something for sure, and make a day out of it because it is a drive for you. But it might be a good day if y'all have the time to do it. I'll message you later and talk about it. Just remind me. But like I said, they're Orange County, California. I'm not sure where that is located to you, but that's the closest location to you was that Orange County one. And like I said, it showed on my Google that it'd be like a 6-hour drive for you. So I don't know, but it was an idea. Because it's like, you helped me out get over there with some of my clips, and it's like, daggum, I didn't think about that until last night. And it's like, shit, that would be perfect, but who knows. All right, babble, y'all. I'm going to try to get this turned before 7:30. So we might not finish this one, but we'll get it close. Orange County is Los Angeles down south. Okay. Like I said, I don't know the locations over there, but it was it was late when I thought about it, and then I Googled it and seen all the areas. So yeah, it was an idea. But again, there still might be some local dispensaries in your area that might support the local vendors. I don't know how you'd find that. I guess start Googling the local shops around here. Not your hemp shops, but the actual marijuana dispensaries. I think those would be a better spot. Alright, babble. Let me put my glasses on and get back at it, yo. Hope everybody's having an awesome morning. I got my damn vape cartridge this morning. Where did we go? My little 510. That is what's in there? Sunshine sherbet. There we go. That's a mouthful. But that's my little cartridge. My little cartridge protector. You don't see nobody selling those because they want you to break that cartridge and buy a new one. Alright, y'all, let's get with it. I don't know how I want to shape it up.
dropping stuff. I'm back. Yeah. I'm gonna lose some pretty color right there, though.
Turn this all down for just a hot minute. Good morning, good morning. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please hit that like, double tap that screen, all that good YouTube stuff. And hey, good morning, name Matthew. Good morning. Well, we gotta go through chat. I haven't been looking at chat in a hot minute. What we got? Did I miss anybody? Don't think I missed any. If I missed anybody coming in saying hello, I'm greatly sorry. Good morning to everybody. I hope your day started off awesome. Alright. Alright, thank you, buddy. Alright, what I'm going to do here, let me turn this off, let it rest a second. I wanted to taper it off and just round off the end and then do my crazy stuff all throughout here and then just polish it that way. But I have pushed the center in so daggum deep right there. It's that point off of here is probably about right there. And so I'm going to come back to here and I'm gonna start trying to make like a marble on the top right there, round it out just as best as I can. It's gonna be a little egg shaped towards the top for when I cut it off, but I'll go back and let me see. Let me show y'all. I'll polish it off by hand. This was a piece of that crepe myrtle we did the other day, and I did the same thing. I kind of rounded it almost egg shaped and then cut it off, and then that's hand sanding and polishing to round it on off like that. That's what we're gonna do with this piece. It'd be a lot easier to polish off this epoxy versus that crepe myrtle. That crepe myrtle is tough. You go to sanding on that and woo-wee, that stuff lets you know it's a tough wood. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right here. Now this is not a lathe tool, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not do as I do. This is what I started with, because like I said, a lot of people are talking about getting them little bitty lap lathes or something, or mini lathes to start with. Here you go. This was my very first little bitty mini lathe, right? So I had this thing here, and then somebody gave me, I can't find the other tools, they're buried in my mess, but somebody gave me, what is that, Maples, an old Maples hand carving set, like an old gouge and stuff, and I've sharpened this up and made it my skew, and there we go. And that's what I used on my little mini lathe as my lathe tools, which on a little mini lathe, heck yeah, it was perfect. It worked, but when I had that catch earlier with that big piece and it broke on me, if I'd have been using this right here, this tool right here would have probably broke and hit me and all that stuff and would have been nasty. But I use this when I'm using these centers here, because if I do get a bad catch, the piece stops. Other than that, this steel is thin, it's small, it's not made to be catching RPMs like this off the lathe. I use it for my detail work, and I go from there. So yeah, y'all just, you got to be careful when you do this stuff. Like I said, don't do as I do. If you do it at your own daggum risk and be very safe. I'm not professionally taught. I'm self-taught on every daggum thing I do. I'll watch a few videos and give it a shot. So this is experience and live and learn, as they say. So yeah, just be careful, y'all. That's all I want. I don't want nobody to get hurt trying to do something I was doing. I would feel very bad. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get me a little bit of coffee and get back at it. A spinner. I like spinning the stuff. The epoxy is like, let me see. I guess why I'm so fixated on the epoxy right now is because, you can look at the epoxy almost like wood grain. I love the natural wood grain and everything. I don't mind stuff being painted up and covered. It's awesome. It makes some pieces just look 1,000 times better. But I love the beauty of the wood grain, like being able to see that in your tool handles and stuff like that. Well, epoxy is almost kind of like the same way when you start mixing your colors, because it just goes all nuts like green, like all the swirls and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I love it. All right, y'all, I've babbled and babbled. Get a little bit of that morning meds and get with it again. Uh-oh. I just changed, y'all. There we go. Get back at it. And I should have my microphone today. I thought it was supposed to come in yesterday, but it should be here today. I don't know. Once I get that going, and we'll start. I keep talking about that OBS and getting my stuff set up different, and I'm working on it. It's just, man, there's a lot to that, and I'm not a computer dummy, but goodness gracious, I get overwhelmed real easy nowadays. And you start opening this stuff up and doing all that, and you don't know what you do, and you're just pushing buttons to figure it out. Yeah, I last about 10 minutes, and then I got to close it. But we're getting there. I got my cameras set up. I said my cameras, my phones. I got them set up as my camera and microphone for station 1 and station 2, and I have them both working this time, so I can go hit the camera for 1, and we got this camera and its microphone, and I hit station 2, and it jumps into the box. It'll have that camera and that microphone, and so what's that, Amy? Daggum. There you go. Well, that's the polite way to put it. You gotta think about it. Heck, Robert, you know, cuss like a sailor. Well, I got military all up in my family here and there. I'm not military, but I got it here and there. And then I've worked around a bunch of crazy daggone ex-con construction, jailbirds, you name it, that was me. We was all up in it, you know. So yeah, I got that heck of a construction mouth. So that daggum is my nice words. Kind of like Bone and his dookie. I love that. It won't be long I'll be saying that. But I try not to cuss as bad as I used to, is what I'm trying to get at. Hey, especially for YouTube, I got to keep it friendly. All right, y'all. I've babbled enough. Here we go. I said I'm gonna put my mask on, and I'm gonna try to get a ball right here. I said I just wing it. You know, I know there's geometry and measurements you got to get, and you can keep it perfect, but I don't. I just go. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm trying to be a good boy now.
Alright, this is gonna be, you gotta be careful. Alright, let's see how this will go. Too much material. See how it stopped? And that kept going? If it was on that chuck, that wouldn't have stopped, it would have broke. That's what I like about that, is I can just stop the piece without it going crazy. Now I can start tuning the shape up a little bit. Hey, good morning, old pal. That's a wonky. I'm not liking that look. I'm gonna leave that thing. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. Go to leave it. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. I'm gonna bring that down and we'll polish it up. Vacuum cleaner sounds like it needs a break, yo.
I definitely think I need to get an electrician over here, and I need to get an electrician over here. Make sure my setup ain't gonna burn nothing down. Because again, Grumpy is a jack of all, master of none. And the outlet that we're running all this off of, I installed it. I run the old flat. Well, I don't even know what you call it. I'd have to look it up. But the three cable, the stripped and the white and the black inside, it's Romex, whatever you call it's your electrical cable. You know, it's not no extension cord or nothing like that. I went to Home Depot and I bought true electrical cable, and then I bought, I think it's a 15 amp breaker, and then put that in there. But I think I need to step my breaker up to about a 20 amp, and then it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get another breaker and another step of wire run through and put another outlet out here. But I don't know if it's my breaker issue or if it's my vacuum just being old or if it's just my daggum crazy head. But when I'm running the vacuum for a while, I'll hear the vacuum engine tone change and start fluctuating. And I don't know if it's that motor trying to lock up or something, or just getting hot, or if it's, you know, just power fluctuation going through the wiring and whatnot. Because it is early too, in a tight little neighborhood. It could just be power fluctuations through the daggum power lines. I don't know. But I'll let that thing sit for a minute. Let it cool down just a touch in case it is the motor on the vacuum. I don't need that to give out on me right now. No, sir, not right now. Grumpy's got too much to do. Oh, I hope everybody's morning's going good, though. Hope y'all had an awesome weekend. That's right, we are Monday morning, so start of the week for everybody. It's always a Monday for me, or always a Friday for me, however you want to look at it. This is my work now. Alright, I'm keeping this shape. This I'm cutting off. Doing it the way I just did right here on the end, though, that did give me an idea for a clip in the future. But I'm chopping this off right here, and so it's not completely rounded at this end, because I'll get that with the sandpaper. I want to go in deeper right here, but I'm afraid if I do that, I'm going to end up, I'll probably attack it before I get off the piece. But I want to, yeah, that's looking at it now, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to call these the hips. I'm going to take them hips down a little bit and let it round in a little tighter. But yeah, I wanted it to bubble out a little bit larger, kind of be like a, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I wanted that to bubble out bigger, and then that'd be like a pedestal the bubble was sitting on. But that'll work. I can feel the tool marks in that. That's the bad thing about that round cutter, is it will dang sure cut, but you just have such a small surface area of the tool touching, you will get you some little lines and grooves in there. That's why you'll see me go through here and do that, then I'll come back with the flat one and go back through. I'm getting, you can't really see them, but little bitty ribs through there, and I'm just smoothing all that off. And then I'll come down and taper this down more. I'll get that a little tighter. I'll bring this down just a little bit, but I'm going to keep that shape. Excuse me, but I want it tapering down to the clip. But then, yeah, I'll round that over. And depends on how this looks when I'm done. When I round it over, I might go center with it and put a dab spoon into here as well. But then, like I said, just depends on how it looks. But, all right, I cannot hardly see. Hold on, y'all. All the daggum dust falling on my phone. I couldn't see the chat. What we got? All right, we've gotten some thumbs up out there this morning. I appreciate that, y'all. All right, if you're watching, please hit that like, double tap that screen, do all that good YouTube stuff. We greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna get back at it. Like I said, I'm gonna. The more I look at it, I keep changing my mind right there. Tapered in, not. So as I get this tapered down, I'll decide what I'm gonna do there, and then we'll polish it up. But all right, babble, y'all. Here we go.
My dad hit the phone with my dang head. I'm trying to lean into it. Shit. That's my vacuum taking a freaking dump. That's not power surge right there. That was, you could hear it. And the lights was flickering and all. Man.
That's a Monday morning for you. Oh, goodness. We gotta laugh or we gonna start crying. Sounds like my vacuum's trying to poop on me, y'all. Oh, goodness gracious, this sucks. Alright, well, we know what we doing come the 22nd, hopefully. Cross y'all's fingers, because Grumpy needs to sell a bunch of stuff now. I got to look up how much, and alright, that's what we do. We got to start researching now the daggone straight up dust collector setup or a daggone another good vacuum cleaner. I know the vacuum cleaner was going to burn up eventually, but man. I don't know. Let me go feel something real quick. Y'all be right back. Flashlight, flashlight. Here's my flashlight. Yeah, it's gotta be the vacuum cleaner, y'all. The breaker's not warm or anything like that. So it's just gotta be the vacuum cleaner. Daggone, man. I bought that a long time ago. It's, what are we, 25? So I bought that vacuum cleaner back in 2000 or 2001. I don't know. That's all it's been used for is this right here. I haven't used it to vacuum out the car or none of that mess. It's been a dedicated unit for my dust collection. Oh, good morning, Mainly. It's as good as it can be. See, the thing is, I have to be careful using it too. I mean, I could push it until it burns out, but if it burns out and catches a fire underneath there and I don't know it, I am in for a pickle. Cause I got the door to that thing's hooked to is kind of screwed shut. I mean, I could rip it off if I need be, but yeah. But man, this bites, y'all. This bites bad. Grumpy's in a rhythm here. I still have to film my video for Wednesday. I need to film. I don't think I have any loaded up to edit now. I think I'm caught up on everything I've filmed. That's like you'll hear in some of my videos, I talk about it being hot or I talk about some other challenge or something like that. And all that stuff's done gone past. I'm that far behind on editing junk, but gracious. Alright, I'm gonna get back at it. Heck, it's gonna burn up. It's gonna burn up. And just watch for smoke. Cross your fingers, say some prayers. At least let me get this one finished. I don't want to have to hand sand this whole thing. That's a lot of polish work right there. I'm gonna turn everything on. I'm gonna try to taper this back down right here. That's what I was doing. I was walking that piece right there, trying to get that flow and bring that down some, and then I'll sand everything up. I'll leave it like that. I like that shape right there. But all right, here we go. This man. I spent big money on that daggum shop vac too. I said back when I bought all that stuff, I did not want to buy it cheap because I didn't want it to burn out within a month of me buying it. Because like I said, hush, I'm awake. I said, Grumpy's on a daggum tight budget, so I do my daggum homework for a while before I buy something, and then it's like I'll say, yep, I need that. I'll talk myself into buying it, talk myself out of it. I'll do that back and forth for a while, and then finally get what I need, and that's what I did with that vacuum. Like I said, I told y'all I took that little that little little bead lathe, whatever, little Timu special. I don't know what you want to call it, but I took that, sat on the front porch for weeks, and made little roach clips like this with it. But man, you want to talk about? I couldn't go nowhere as fast as what I'm doing with it. And I'm not as fast as most now, but talk about when I hit this and it stopped spinning, that little bead lathe. Oh my goodness, it stopped spinning whole 9 yards, and then I'd be almost done and break the end almost every daggum time. So it took me a while, but I stacked up a lot of nice clips with that little thing, and then that's what I bought my vacuum cleaner with, and bought this with, and all that mess. And then donating blood. I do a lot of blood donating, so did that too. Shit, I get me some dependable wheels, I might get back into donating plasma. I did that mess for years. I donated plasma twice a week, every week for over 5 years. That's how I paid for my motorcycle and built my hot rod. Morning, Matt. But yeah, Grumpy will figure it out. We'll get back up on there. Like I said, with this event coming up, hopefully I'll have an excellent day there, and I can take and invest all that. Like I said, I'll do my homework on a true dust collector now. I don't really have the room to put one up in here, but we'll make room if it's cheaper than a vacuum. At least if it's not gonna break in a month. All right, y'all. I gotta get happy. Let's start polishing this stuff and run this thing as long as we can. Clean up some of this mess before it goes completely out. Yeah, it starts off strong, and then I can hear it losing its power already. Yeah, see, it would have sucked. Yeah, buddy, this thing is on its last leg. There it goes. Lights is flickering. Gotta love it, gotta love it. Damn, might not be able to finish sanding this piece. Alright, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. This is one of Grumpy's Monday mornings for sure. Let's see. Let's do a little recap for everybody that's just tuning in. I started off turning this on my chuck here, and with a worm screw holding it. So how I showed y'all earlier with this spinning, I can grab it and it stopped. You're not stopping this piece on this chuck right here, right? And I was spinning away. I had my detail pointer. Let's see, where's it at? This bad boy right here. I had this guy, and was digging in, trying to round my edge, and so I had a lot of blade that was catching a lot of surface area or whatever, and I get a little heavy handed and I pushed too hard. When I pushed too hard, that bad boy stopped, and I had a good grip of the tool, and of course, like I said, this is not gonna stop when you get those catches on that chuck, and that's what happened. Is it split there and ripped it off of here and went flying across the room. But I was trying to make an egg, like an egg shape, and was going to put a spoon in the top of it and then have it flat on the bottom so it would stand up. That broke. Then we went to putting this piece on there, and it's turning out nice. My shape's coming in good. I just got to do some polishing on there, and now my shop vac is trying to break. But that's just a Monday morning, I reckon. But let that thing sit for a second, and I'll try to turn it on again, because I cannot sand and do all that in here. All this fine, that epoxy dust right there, you don't want that stuff floating everywhere and getting in your lungs. And this is this is my little man cave, chill shop, medication room, all that, computer spot, you name it. That's what I do out here. So it's like, That's why I gotta have my dust stuff going, because it's a little dusty even once you turn it off, and I still sit out here and hang out here most of the day. So yeah, I gotta have a dust unit. I can't go without one. Well, yes, sir. You're gonna have egg popcorn at that point. I remember when I was younger. This is one of them childhood memories that just won't never leave my brain. My mom was making boiled eggs. I think it was close to Easter time. I don't remember what it was, but she was making a daggum pot full of boiled eggs, and she set it all on the boil. Me and my buddy, we was goofing around in the house, and she walked a house up, talked to a neighbor for a few minutes, and she forgot she had eggs boiling, and we heard a bunch of pop, pop, pop sounds, and what is that? Me and my buddy go into the kitchen, and the daggum pot had boiled out of water. It had boiled so long the water was gone, and the eggs were exploding in the pot and going all over the kitchen. It was funny. It was like popcorn, but it was eggs instead of popcorn. Story time with Grumpy. You gotta love it. Oh, snot, y'all. I want to cry right now. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Alright, here we go. Let's see how much longer this thing will work. I need this a little bit smaller. I'm going to try to spin that down without the vacuum, because that's not going to be a whole lot of dust. It wasn't no black inside. Them daggum things exploded and was all over the kitchen. It was funny. I had a bunch of crazy kitchen stories like that growing up. My mom worked midnights, 11 to 7. And so she'd be working all night, and then try to sleep during the day while I was at school. We got off the bus, and a bus stop, it's about 2 blocks or so from the house. Not a small, bad walk in a little neighborhood, but you could smell it. I don't know if y'all have ever been cooking dry beans, like northern beans or something like that, on the stove. Boil them in the pot all day. You got to boil them down, add water, boil them, add water. Well, she had fallen asleep while they were cooking, and so they cooked all the water out of them and burned and scorched them to the pot. Oh my goodness. That's a stinky smell you don't forget. And hangs around for a little while on top of that too. I'm just trying to get a little more shape in this, and then I'll turn on the vacuum cleaner for the last bit, because I doubt it's going to make it much more. It's probably going to burn up. I have been pushing it a lot harder than I have here lately. That's for sure. Normally, like I said, I was caught up on my videos, so I would have to come out here and turn maybe one stick a week to stay caught up on my videos, so I wasn't running my vacuum as often. And now that I'm doing these lives, I try to get on here every day, and so that's running the vacuum constantly. And then again, the vacuum would get breaks when I would do this. When I do this and I'm not I can't talk. I'm daggum aggravated. I'm getting tongue-tied. When I make my clips and I'm not recording live, one of these clips might take me half the day. I fight chronic pain, neck problems, back problems, and my little gremlins start messing with me. I'll sit down, medicate, take a break, watch some videos, and then get back at it. Doing these lives, I don't sit down and take a break no more. I'll prop up on my chair and get off my feet a little bit so it helps my back, but I don't stop. And so therefore the tools don't stop. And so
The vacuum cleaner, it was used to getting a break every now and then instead of running steady, and now it's running dang near steady for an hour, hour and a half. And so yeah, I guess it's catching up to it. I'll figure something out. I'll get it replaced. I got this event coming up again on the 22nd. It'll be that dispensary's grand opening. So I'm hoping I'll do good up there that day. If I do as good on the grand opening as I did the other day, I should be able to do something, I hope. I say that I have to price the daggone vacuum cleaners. Like I said, it's been several daggone years since I've had to buy one. Yeah, that still needs to go way down. Hey, Bear. Good morning. Thank you for stopping by. If you're driving, be safe. Oh, cool. Bear, my dust collection system is trying to take a poop on me this morning. I got a big 5-gallon rigid shop vac underneath my workstation here, and it is on its last leg. It'll run for about a minute, and then it starts glitching, and you see the lights flickering and stuff, and it's starting to lose power, so he's trying to burn up. But letting it try to cool for a minute. I'm going to try to sand this down, and I need that vacuum cleaner to run, but I also need that down a little bit thinner, so we'll do some of that. Doctors on speed dial. At least y'all can trust y'all's doctors. I don't trust my doctors no daggone more. I put in an order for my CPAP supplies, and that's put on hold because the sleep doctor or whatever in my network is no longer working for the company. And it's just the office's AP or whatever they call it working in there right now, and I guess they can't authorize my stuff. That's the only thing I can figure, because I put the order in, waited about a week. They finally called and told me that there was an issue with getting the paperwork for insurance or whatever. So yeah. At least I'm not out of my filters and stuff yet, but I'm just trying to be real easy on this, y'all. I don't want that to break. The way my morning's going, it's gonna split. Alright. Where's my good paper? Alright, let's see how long it lasts. Not long, I already hear the sound changing. That's one thing about my ADHD. There it goes. I listen to so much and can hear so much. This thing ain't gonna last. I gotta get it done. Whew. But yeah, with my ADHD, I pay attention to detail and so much stuff in so many different directions. It's like I hear the sounds and hear it fluctuating. And then I see the lights starting to flicker. yeah, it's just a matter of it throwing sparks and burning up next. Alright, y'all, I'm looking for my daggone 240 sandpaper. I just had it. I have strips of paper for epoxy set out, and I have strips of paper for the wood set out. I know the vacuum didn't suck it up. It ain't got the power to no more. Oh, let's see. What did I do with it? Oh, well. Alright, let's see. We're going to try to vacuum some more for me. Let me put my dust mask back on, y'all, and try this again. Alright, here we go. There it goes. Not, y'all. There's my 240. It was hiding. 320. Sounds like it's holding together for now. Come on, man. $600. There it goes. It's trying to go out. Come on. Stop. Damn. Alright, that's okay.
Time to take this daggone mask off. Very aggravated, but that's okay. It lasted this far. I can do the rest without the vacuum because it's got to be wet sanded and polished at this point, so it kind of blows. Me and that vacuum's got a history. I don't want to lose my vacuum, y'all. But I think she is on her last clip. Oh, goodness gracious. I need mine. There's my 1200. There's my 1500. Move this stuff out of the way. Get my chuck out of the way. It don't need to get wet. Sorry, y'all. I'm setting up for some wet sanding real quick. Try to pick stuff up out of the way though, because I can run. Gonna try to run the vacuum cleaner again real quick to get a majority of this epoxy up and some of this dust up so it don't get all up in my daggum towel. That's normally what I do is once I get done with the turning, I'll take the hose and get all the loose stuff up and all the dust. That way it don't, because that little bit of dust gets back on there when you're polishing it. It can add some more scratches because like you can see the the paper scratches in it still. I couldn't get all that out as good as I normally do because the vacuum acting up on me. So I'm gonna try to catch the rest of it with the wet sanding. Try to get this up before it goes to put. Yeah, see, there's no suction. Shit lasted as good for a good, I guess. Where we in almost 26. So that's daggone, that's 6 years. Not too bad. Five years steady. 4 years solid, 5 years maybe. Alright. Still, there's no fun. What I want to do is, would love to put I have a small, like 10 by 10 little portable building shed put up out back. Awesome little shed. I'd love that to be moved over, or have another one just like it put right against the side of my house right here, because I'm in the garage, and have it in the backyard, because the window for my garage is in the backyard, so I can have the shed right up against it right there. Then I can put an air compressor, a true check hose and filter stuff. I will. The hose is pretty good. The suction, it's the motor. I don't know if it's coming through good on the camera or not, but you can hear it running wide open, and then you can hear the RPMs in that electric motor start to drop and fluctuate, and then the lights start to kind of flicker a little bit. So it's most likely the motor's just had enough. But I will pull it out later today and blow all the filters out, blow everything out, because that's what I do whenever I empty my bucket. Like I said, I'll have to show y'all. I'll show y'all here in just a minute. It's easier to show than try to explain it. But it's locked up underneath my box and everything. Woo, it's about 7:30, so yeah, I gotta get with this real quick because I won't be doing much more. Dang. Alright, y'all, let's see. I got 1,000 grit. Got my water squirt bottle. Let's get with it. Some wet sanding. But you know how people, like musicians and stuff, will take old egg cartons and put them up for like soundproofing and stuff, and then they use your little bitty foam egg crate deals to soundproof rooms. Well, whenever I put my vacuum cleaner in here and was using it, it was just out in the open. It was loud, and I got tinnitus or tinnitus, however you say it, so my stuff goes to ringing, and loud noises and stuff just don't help it. And I didn't have a noise canceling headset for myself or nothing like that at the time, and so I was like, oh, I can put it in a box, that'll get it quieter. And then I took you go to fast food restaurants and they got them little cardboard, not them little fold out cardboard square drink carriers, but the hard, like molded carriers that hold 4. They're made out of the same, they're made out of the same material that some of them egg carton deals are made out of. Well, I took a bunch of those and lined the inside of the cabinet, all the walls that I had the vacuum, so it'd be like a sound suppressor a little bit. Like I said, it dropped the decimals down about 30 points. But it's 3 walls in there, and then 1 wall towards the garage door is open. That way the vacuum can breathe in there, so it's not getting choked out or nothing. It's getting fresh air and stuff like that for the motor. But like I said, it's just been running for a long time. But we'll see what we can do. I do have a little bitty like 3-gallon shop vac that we use for vacuuming the vehicles and stuff like that. If need be, I'll try to run that thing to make some sticks. Yeah, 7:30, they'll be waking up now. But yep, that just became priority of the wish list. The vacuum or dust collector just got moved to the top. Take a deep breath, I feel you. Hell, right now I take too deep of a breath, I'm gonna breathe in all this dust because my damn dust collector ain't collecting. Okay, we're breathing up. That's it. I'll figure it out. I mean, it's everything's happening. I always say everything happens for a reason, you know, and so everything's happening for a reason. I got enough merchandise for the sale on the 22nd, so maybe, you know, like I said, I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed and stay positive right there. You know, I'll go sell a few clips and stuff and then be able to order something then. It's not the end of the world, it just makes for a poo-poo Monday. Alright, that's the 1,000. Let's go and do some 1,200. Let's get a fresh little piece of 1,200. My alarms are scattered throughout the morning. And I said, I used to not be a morning person. I used to want to sleep half the morning, stay up all daggum night, but with my aches and pains, I still stay up half the night, but I'm up out of bed earlier. Like I said, the quicker I get up moving in the morning, the better I am. Morning time is the ideal time for Grumpy to try to do any dang thing. I said the longer I'm up, the more my pains pick up. So first thing in the mornings, I ain't gonna say I'm pain free. I put it, I'm at like maybe a 4 leading into a, yeah, I'd say about a 4 in the morning, and then probably about the time I'm done with these lives, I'm kicking in about a 7. And then when I drive, goodness gracious, that jumps the pain up because I have to extend my arms out holding that steering wheel, like reaching out in front of me, and that right there in itself just pulls on my neck. And that's what makes everything go to crap during the day, because the neck headaches get pressure in my neck, turns into a headache, migraine, all that crap. But, yeah. Alright, let me let dogs out, y'all. Be right back. And my big dog, she's like one of those, what you call it, Velcro. Perfect example of a pit bull or a bulldog style dog when they show them that they want to stay glued to your hip. She can't go outside by herself. She's out there right now, but she's just standing there looking around. It's almost like she has to make sure I'm out there with her, or she won't go out in the yard doing her thing. But yeah, that's why my lives are scheduled so early, because 7:30, that's when the routine starts kicking around here in the mornings for everybody waking up. My wife starts to wake up to get ready for work, and my son wakes himself up to get ready for class. And then of course I have to do the chauffeuring at the moment for my boy back and forth to class till he gets in the car. $1,500 here, y'all. Fixing to have to go check on the pups real quick. But yeah, I was babbling. My alarms, they go off. I start them now that I'm doing the lives 4:45. And I set one for 4:45. That way I can wake up, get me a cup of coffee made. Maybe get that morning medication rolled up if I'm not already have one ready or using my cartridge, but and then get whatever piece that I want to do cut or ready. I get set up and try to start by 5:30 on the lives. And then that gives me from 5:30 to 7:30, you know, that I don't have to worry about the wife needing me to do something, you know. That way my YouTube don't interrupt with the home routines, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Happy wife, happy life. That way she can't complain. It's not like I'm making millions or something doing this. That would be cool though, you know. Grumpy's channel blow up, you know. Wishful thinking, y'all. I gotta dream big, right? Got to put that stuff into existence. But it would be awesome for this right here to pick up and me be able to do my roach clips and my thing, and her be able to retire from her work. That would just be so cool. Make me feel complete again. Make me feel like I'm doing something. This daggum disability, I mean, it helps pay the bills, but it sucks. I want to be that man and contribute to all them bills. Not contribute to making them. How about paying them? There you go. I don't know if that sounded right when I said that. That's how I confuse myself half the time, y'all. Alright, this is polishing up good. I'm going to cut it off right there, and then I'll hand sand the end to try to get it completely round. I don't think that's going to end up too bad. I left myself enough material on the end that I should be able to, you know, cup it over as I'm sanding it in. I just hope that I got all the scratches out. I know it had some good scratches before we started wet sanding. Does the med get you sideways snot? No. That's the thing. You know, I guess everybody looks at Grumpy as being a stoner getting goofy or something like that. It don't hit me like that. I've been medicating with this stuff so damn long, my body's built up a tolerance to it, I guess you could say. You know, I get what's the stoner word? I get stoned, but nothing like what I used to when I was younger smoking it. Like I said, now it's strictly medicinal. I mean, yeah, I try to smoke a joint to get that high or that buzz, but I use it for my anxiety and my chronic pain, and then I do my CBD on top of all that, you know. And CBD counteracts the euphoria stage of the THC. And that's one thing people don't realize. They're like, oh, you're getting stoned. No, if you do medical and all you do is just straight distillates or high potent THC stuff, then it may be more prone to be a pothead that way. But like I said, I do I do my CBD as well. And like I said, that takes that euphoria part out. It takes the head trip out of it. You know, and then again, the THC, it's not like a hallucinogen or nothing like that. You know, it's TV gives that shit a bad rep. You don't get that daggum goofy off the stuff. Now, granted, when you're young and you ain't never messed with it, you're gonna get the giggles and have you a hell of a good time. You know, but that's only a few times into it. You know, if you truly medicating with it, that stage don't last long at all. But you get the good strains that dang sure get you giggly and in a good mood. I mean, that's part of it, you know. That's what helps with the depression and all that, you know. But got to balance it out, as I put it. Get the entourage effect, the whole thing, you know. The CBD and all works awesome for inflammation and all that kind of stuff, and anxiety and all that, you know. And then the THC on top of that, even, you know, it's a win-win. All right, here's my Yorkshire paste that I'm putting on here. There you go. Let's see, I mean, that's just it. I'm old school myself, so calling it flour and medicated and all that. I mean, it's funny to say it, but I mean that is the times and the way everybody's talking about it. I mean, if you want to, I guess, end the stigma and the taboo for it, I mean you got to use those terms. You know, that's like roach clips. You know how many people that I go to in the dispensaries and I say it's a roach clip and they look at me like, what is that? I just laugh. You know, like, how long have you been smoking? You know, you can tell the OGs from the new ones and whatnot, you know, and it's like they don't know what a roach clip is or they don't know that terminology. They're still babies, you know. Hell, I'm a baby to most people, they say, but no, they're still babies. Oh, this is gonna have some good color to it, yo. At least we'll have a pretty stick from a goofed up morning. Alright, I got a bunch of water back here. I gotta clean up some wet salmon still. Alright, just a clean paper towel here to get the rest of the stuff off. What do you use the grok for? Are you using it just for AI art, or are you using it like Chat GPT for all the stuff? Like, I didn't use Chat GPT for artwork or nothing like that. I'll go through and put in like a prompt and say I want to make a YouTube description for this, and let it spit out what it does. And, is grok the same way, or is that just for artwork? My dogs are standing at the back door staring at me. They're like, what are you doing? It's time to eat. I let them outside and then come back over here and finish polishing. They're like alarm clocks too. I don't leave food down for them all day to eat on. I'll feed them in the mornings and then I'll feed them in the evening. And so yeah, come morning time, they're ready for breakfast. Alright, y'all, this is as polished up as I can do. It's got an awesome shine. That's clean and dry, so we're fixing to shut it off and see what we got. Besides a blowed up vacuum cleaner, that's got some nice color. Let me take pressure off of that, y'all. I'm gonna cut that, y'all, and then polish it around. That's got some nice, awesome swirl. It's gonna have a lot of glow to it too. I can see the orange in there all over. That's got the glow pigment in it. Not bad. Like I said, I'll cut it, sand it, and kind of round it out. Thank you. Shiny for sure. Hey, hold on, y'all. It's not just shiny. Remember, if Grumpy does it, it's gonna glow. It's got some awesome shine to it, though. My wife picked out these colors, and that gold, they all have that pearlescent sparkle to it, but the gold really stands out. All right, y'all ready to see it glow? Bam! And that's it. I say this has had a lot of glow. I'm trying to step up my pigment for these that glow. And then right here, I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me get the light off of it, son. I got to charge it up real good. There'll be bright specks right here. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. You might be able to see it right at my fingertip. There's a speck there, a couple on the sides. That's the, y'all, you'll be able to see this one because it'll stand out in the dark. right there. There's a bunch of little specks like that that pop out in there from the glow pigment. Um, yeah, there's even some up in here, but it it's a real fine powder, so it tries to, if it gets any humidity or moisture to it, it tries to rock up on you, and you got to break it all back up when you're mixing up your color. And I'm using little silicone mixers, so I can't break the powder back up as much, so there's little chunks in it. But it's cool. It makes it look like little stars and stuff because you can see into that resin or that epoxy on some of it. It's kind of translucent. And so if you look good, you can look up into it and see the little bits and spots. Gives it that galaxy effect. It's pretty cool. Alright, let me turn the light back on, you. Oh, shit. Take these glasses off. I can see glasses. I cannot see walking around with them. Oh, they're for close up. Oh, Grumpy's blind, y'all. I'm supposed to wear bifocals. Alright, pop y'all off that mount. Alright, y'all. Let me see here. My vacuum system. Whoop, there's my bucket, my dust deputy. It's one of them Orida, whatever the heck the brand is. I can't remember. It's on a sticker up on there. Oh, trying to squat down. Can't see it too good, but right there is the hose that comes out of the dust collector, runs underneath and around, then comes up to my lathe, to my carbon table, or to my saws. But that box right there, there's one of the screws that hold it. There's another one back there, but I got to take that door down, and it's so tight in here that you have to kind of lean it back at an angle and slide it out, and then the vacuum is behind there. And then I have to get on my hands and knees, unplug the hoses off of it, pull it out a little bit, and then pull the filter out that way to go blow everything out. But let's see. That's where it comes around. There's my foot pedal. That's the foot pedal for the vacuum. That's my foot pedal for my Dremel. And then my crazy downdraft. And let's see. Come down. And all I did for my downdraft is, this is a 2x4. That's all 2x4 wide. Plywood on the top to make my tabletop. Well, I put a piece of plywood underneath and then made my little ribs. And made a little box. There's my little shop vac attachment piece right there. That's where I plug my shop vac into. And see, there's the edge of it. All that white caulking is that's the end. So it's only 2x4 deep, and just a little small box like that. That's why I was saying, Robert, you could build something small like that and sit on your lap and do it out of thin wood, so it's not heavy. But all right, y'all, I gotta turn this off. I gotta get my dogs fed. Had a crappy morning with pieces busting and falling apart. Vacuum cleaners taking a dump. But hey, we got that finished right there. Like I said, I can finish that off by hand. I'll cut it and polish that. But look at that, y'all. There you go. Look at that swirl. Now that orangier stuff, that's what's got the glow in there. And it's supposed to be orange, but it comes out almost green. And it's weird the way it works. But it even looks orange and stuff in the container. It even glows orange by itself. But that's what we got. Only 1 inch deep. There you go. And I said it doesn't have to be that deep because, I mean, heck, the shallower it is, that just puts more pressure coming to the holes, in my opinion. Look at all that water. It slings all down there and up the back where it goes about that high. And then I got my stickers and stuff up there. And then there's some shapes that I'm going to start playing with right there. All right, y'all. I'm going to turn this off, feed my dogs. I know I've done said that 100 times, but Grumpy, we love to babble. But y'all have an awesome morning. I'm going to get my stuff fixed because, Grumpy can't slow down now. We got to keep going. And, God bless everybody. Stay safe today. I hope y'all had a great weekend, and I hope your week's off to an excellent start.